Hi, this is Susan Phelan, and I have with me Brandon Ho, Jordan Augustine, and Spencer Scanlan. Thank you for joining us. You guys are doing something different. We've talked to editors, we've talked to writers, we've talked to publishers. I have not talked to film producers yet. And film producers, you are film producers, but the reason I'm talking to you is because you are doing book trailers.
That's right.
And I just think this is the coolest thing, because I've thought myself about book trailers and how cool they are, and how, you know, some authors will try and do them themselves, and they'll just put little pictures of this and this little voiceover, and I'm really not sure they help sell your book. So tell me how you guys came up with this idea. Well, let's start with that. How did you come up with this idea?
Well, actually, that started with me. That my wife, she's big into finding out more about any stories that she reads, and so she's always on YouTube, Facebook. And one day she showed me this trailer, and I was like, that's not very good. And so I started researching it a little bit more, and soon just realized, you know what, there's a lot of potential for these, but they're just missing their mark. I don't think it seems like those who are making these trailers don't really necessarily understand the audiences they're intending to send them to, or maybe they just don't understand how to really sell themselves. And so
I'm not sure. I mean, they're not filmmakers; they're writers. So right. They're two different genres, and they have some similarities. But you know, it's kind of nice to know what you're doing when you're making a book trailer. So
right.
So you guys, you pulled these guys on board?
Yeah, I kind of gave them a call and told them of the concept. They loved it, and the idea is just I mean, essentially we're storytellers, and our medium that we're able to express ourselves is through cinema or film. And what we feel is that there are many excellent stories that are in books. The problem is book trailers, the way they stand right now, they're kind of pushing this image that book trailers are not as good as movies, because audiences are seeing both of these. When you put something out there that's visual, it's directly competing with anything else out there that's visual. So if you're going to put things out there that just lack in quality, it's kind of painting an image that doesn't really portray what kind of stories are in books. So that's kind of where the idea started. So.
And the three of you met at BYU in the film department, is that right?
That's right.
Did you all graduate the same time?
Around the same time.
Actually,
Yeah, all roughly at the same time.
And what I find is amazing is that all three of you are working in the film industry. So you graduate in film and you actually get to work in the film industry. So yay for you. That's really, really cool and exciting. But yet I'm sure you're not doing, at this point, everything you want to be doing. You're more paying your dues.
Sure.
So this is something you want to be doing and that you're collaborating on.
Like Spencer said, it's storytelling. We get to take stories that we love and portray them in a visual way, like Spencer said, because audiences today are very visual, right? We got lots of stuff on YouTube. We got Facebook. People are sharing stuff all over the web, and stories have become transmedia in many ways. And so with book trailers, you're bringing books into the transmedia web, and making them something that hopefully the more visual types will gravitate to and be introduced to books and stories that they wouldn't have read or been introduced to otherwise.
Okay, so that's really cool.
Yeah, well, it's something that is part of our passion. I mean, like you said, it's all storytelling. We love to make movies, of course, and what's fun about the book trailers for us is that, I mean, first off, we get to read books that we love, you know, like who doesn't like to sit down and read a good book, but then as filmmakers, we can kind of take and break it down to its barest elements and figure out ways that we can tell the most important elements that will capture the audience's attention and to make them want to read that book in a short period of time, like 60 seconds or 90 seconds. So being able to do that is something that's allowing us to be creative and to improve our craft, and then also to service the community around us.
So you say you read the book. So when somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I want you to make a book trailer, the first step is for you to read it, and then you get your own storyboard and idea in mind of how you want to portray it. Then what happens?
Well, and it's also the collaboration between us. The author obviously understands the world better than we ever could, and that's what filmmaking is, though. It's all about collaboration. Not one person can tell those grandiose things, because film takes so many individuals to create that type of product.
Very true. So if somebody, all right, 2 questions here.
Okay.
First, if somebody wants to do a book trailer and they insist on doing their own, they say, I can't afford it, I've got these skills, which maybe they have or have not, but what would you recommend they do?
Well, if they can't afford it, I would probably say stay away from doing it at that time, because, I mean, whatever you put up, like as a trailer, as an advertisement, may be the person's first exposure to your book or your story. And if you can't do it well and do it right, then anybody that's going to be seeing that is just going to be turned off by it rather than turned on to it.
Okay.
So that would be my suggestion. I'll let you guys.
It all depends on their level at what you're saying, because maybe they can do it themselves. But I like what Brandon said, that the first impression, you don't want to give an impression about your book and turn people away from it.
Turn people off, so that instead of bringing people, you're taking them away. And if somebody did want to do a trailer and they're thinking, how in the world can I afford this? Obviously, it's going to vary by project, depending on complexity. But what should they expect, price-wise?
That also will vary.
Yeah.
It varies on the elements at play. You're dealing with science fiction or fantasy. You've got lots of visual effects and production design, and those are very powerful elements that are part of the spectacle of a book trailer, and those can end up costing some money, but it can be anywhere between $25,000 to $30,000, $40,000 for a very high quality book trailer.
And I would suggest if they still want to put their message out there, try a teaser. Because a trailer has elements. It's kind of like telling the micro story. Whereas a teaser, you can just highlight just an element that's in
One
the
little
story.
element, that might be more simple.
So,
Well, thank you so much. We've really enjoyed talking to you. It's hard when you have 3 people to get everything in that you want to ask, but I appreciate you coming and talking to us. This is Susan Phelan with Utah Book Scene, and we've been talking with Brandon Ho, Jordan Augustine, and Spencer Scanlan. And thanks for watching.